Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast. Introducing your host from New York, here is Sam Roberts.
Here we are in White Plains, New York.
Yeah.
And look who's back.
How you
Enzo
doing?
is back. It's been a while.
Back in the building, bro.
I don't
Bada
think-
boom, real guy in the room.
I don't think we've spoken since the NXT
Philly,
days.
I don't think. Yeah, man. Philly, NXT, first hit the road traveling, and we came up to Philly. Me and Big Cass came and sat down with you and Katie.
Yeah.
And we had a good talk that day.
What's the upkeep like, man? Because like we were just talking about shoes before we started, but in the NXT days, it was like, I guess you might have to bring like a whole bunch of different pairs of shoes for a TV taping, but like now you're in the ring, whatever, 5 nights a week, every single week, and people, you've set yourself up to have this expectation that you're going to have some kind of hotness every single time you go out there.
Yeah.
So you just have to keep maintaining.
So I live currently in 3 different locations.
Mm-hmm.
So life is not easy, as Joe could tell you, you know, when we got interviews going on, you know, are you on the West Coast or are you on the East Coast? But so for me, I keep a stash in all 3 locations, you know, but I only wear Jordans once in the ring and I never wear them again.
That's it.
That's it. So I want it done every pair. So luckily, you know, I did a deal with Champ Sports.
Right.
They provide me with new heat every week on Monday night, and I reveal that shoe on the Monday Night Sneaker Watch on Champ Sports Snapchat. You know, you get a taste of that on my Instagram here and there too, but definitely tune in on Monday Night Sneaker Watch. If you want to see what I'm wearing before I actually hit the TV screen, I'll reveal it. But
What do you do with them after? You give them.
Well,
You got to give them back.
luckily, my little brother is the same size foot as me, man.
So he
that
just
kid-
gets them all.
That kid is sitting on a arsenal of material right now. But me, more or less, you know, I get the J's sometimes delivered to the arena.
Yeah.
Sometimes delivered to my address where I'm going to be. I usually get them a week, maybe 2 weeks ahead. So sometimes I'll travel with a pair, but I never travel with more than one pair that I've never worn on TV. So when I wrestle on TV, I wear J's. When I wrestle on the house shows, a lot of the time you see different. Sometimes I'll wear J's. Sometimes I'll wear the KD Longhorn States just because they're leopard everywhere.
Right.
So I bought 3 pairs of those KD Longhorn States when they came out back when I was in NXT.
Because those are the everyday shoes.
Those are the you know, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
You know, but pay-per-view, Monday Night Raw, I'm in a different pair every time.
Right. Yeah, I have one pair of Jordans that the dog ate the back off of.
Oh.
So, like, those are the dog walking shoes now.
Yeah,
Like, those are the
yeah,
ones that we
I
can
feel
walk
you,
in the
bro.
grass.
Yeah,
and-
man, I have you know, shout out to Kilo, my dog, all white German Shepherd out in Florida. He's a beast, and he's definitely had a pair of Jordan or 2 in his bag. He's definitely had.
Yeah, because I guess you can't, like, especially now, it's not like a pair can come out and you can get them and be like, okay, next week I'm going to wear these on TV, because by that time it's a week
Well,
old.
the thing
and-
that I try to do more than anything that complicates matters is I usually try to color coordinate with the shoe that I'll be wearing on Monday.
So you got to get new gear sometimes because,
Sometimes
the
I
shoe's
get
coming
new
out.
gear. You know, Lord knows I have probably more gear than anybody on the roster.
Definitely.
So, you know, I have gear that'll match pretty much every pair of Jordan that's coming out. You know what I mean? But, yeah, you know, I try to minimize new gear to pay-per-views and once in a while on Raws. And once I wear it on a pay-per-view, I might wear it again. But
So when you're doing like a co-branded pay-per-view, like when you're doing Survivor Series or something like that, do you have to find out what Shane's wearing to coordinate the Jordan thing? Because the last thing you want to do is show up.
Oh, man, you know what? Shane, see, I try to stay away from, what is he wearing, 31s, 32s, 29s and 30s he wears, which I never go above.
And ones, though. He wears a lot of
Well,
ones.
that's the thing I was just about to say. I'll never wear a Jordan 1 on a pay-per-view with Shane unless we were in Brooklyn this past year.
Yeah.
And I wore the Derek Jeter Jordan 1s.
I saw those, yeah.
Which has always been a bucket list sneaker of mine nonetheless. So the fact that I got to wear it and with the pinstripe Yankee outfit, you know, Biggie on the back, it was all a dream written on the back. And
Yeah.
we shot a little ode to Biggie and Frank Sinatra, and I think maybe Billy Joel got some love. I don't remember, bro, but it was fun.
Is that a weird thing about being like a good guy right now? Because you're doing that in New York, and it's like, yeah, but then you go to Boston, and you're like, okay, how do we go to Boston and let the Boston fans know that we love Boston without the New York
I'll tell you
fans?
how we go to Boston. We say, Luke Gallows, you ain't nothing but a sloppy jalopy. And I'm going to tee off on your dome piece like I'm Big Papi.
Right.
Oh! "Oh," and the crowd goes wild. Pretty sure that's what Cass said. But yeah, give a little tidbit on the. We went to Boston for Hell in a Cell. Cass said that. I'm pretty sure. I threw some Everlast in there. Everlast, big Boston head. I think we threw some other, cheap thrills in there.
There's just enough little references.
Just some were subtle. Some you might not have picked up on. You know what I mean? Like, I think I'm going to give you an everlasting beatdown because I ain't got to jump around the fact, that there's only one word to describe you.
Right. Right.
It's all about the 99% of the people probably didn't pick up on it, but it doesn't matter if they did or didn't because it all made sense.
Right. And it's also just for the people. It's for that one guy that got it in the front row. It's like, oh.
Yeah,
that's what it was for.
Yeah, man.
That's what the whole thing
It's like a rapper sometimes that you got to hit rewind when you listen to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? What did he just...
I'll sit there, you'll listen to like rap music and you'll just mumble through that lyric that you didn't get in like 2 years later. It'll just hit you and you'll be like, oh my God.
Yeah, man.
What was it like when you got the injury that you sustained that took you out for you were off TV for about a month, right?
It was 3 weeks.
3 weeks? That was scary to watch.
Two to three, maybe four.
It was scary.
When I came back, I wasn't initially wrestling right away.
Right.
Big Cass had a couple matches on TV there before I got back in the ring, so I was not exactly back at full capacity, but yeah.
It was scary to watch. Was it scary to live through, or are you the type of guy that wakes up and it's like, okay.
It's just funny when you're sitting at home on a Monday and, you're watching SportsCenter Center on Tuesday and all of a sudden you see them showing your replay. So WWE, Monday Night Raw, the network, I got the opportunity to see it a couple times, to say the least.
Right.
Yes, it comes with territory, bro. You
gotta
tough kid. I played football growing up. I've put my head down a couple times. I know they teach you to hit differently these days.
Right.
There was one way about it back in the day. Put your head down and run through them, So I always kind of, I guess, football, wrestling, life, I kind of just always had that mentality.
Just push through.
Yeah, whatever.
Just break
Who
through
cares,
the brick wall.
I just really not trying to be stopped. And, if you stop me, I'm probably going to get back up, so we're all right.
So when you're at home and you're watching Cass, and he did really well for when he was by himself, are you sitting there on one end going I want to see my boy succeed, but on the other end be like, yo, we're a team.
Never that. I'm hoping, Big Cass gets a great singles run and vice versa.
Right.
And I think we pull for each other in that regard because if you remember back in the day when Michaels and Diesel were running hot as tag team champions and they had the IC title and the heavyweight championship.
Right.
You know what I mean? I couldn't necessarily not forecast seeing that in the future for me and Big Cass. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter who's got what around their waist. I think we're always pulling for each other to succeed. We're homies,
You got to start doing that running high five deal.
Yeah.
Right. Running head start.
I don't want to jock their style too much. You know what I mean? I look crazy enough as it is.
Whose idea was it, or how did they come to you and be like, okay, this week we want you to be naked on Raw? We're going to start this new thing, and you're going to do it naked.
You know what? To be honest with you, I was just walking around the hallways naked in a camera rolled up on me. That's pretty much how that went down. You know what I mean? It was just Enzo being Enzo. As Cass said when he walked up, freaking Enzo was naked in the hallway. So it's just a regular occurrence, bro. They just decided to put it on TV that 1 week.
Right? They're like, we can work with this.
Yeah.
I love that you're a part of this. It feels like they're injecting more soap opera soap opera for guys stuff into Raw. And I feel like that's been missing a little bit from WWE, and that's I thought one of the things that always made it good. Are you enjoying that part of it, getting to?
Yeah, I think one of the you could call us what you want, but at the end of the day, we're entertainers.
Right.
And you could call it a wrestling show, but at the end of the day, it's a TV show. So when you're making live TV, there's no room for error, so you can't go out there and screw up, especially when, for instance, a week ago I'm on 7 different segments, running around getting changed backstage and, shooting live TV, live, promos with Ric Flair and hotel beatdowns. And I more than anything, I think I prided myself when it was all said and done in the faith the company had in me to,
carry that.
I wouldn't call it carry because there was other people involved for sure that without them it wouldn't be possible. But at the same token, to have 7 segments on a television show where you have to stay tuned in to see what's going to happen next. And that used to be what as you mentioned, we grew up watching. You know, I grew up on the Attitude Era, and a lot of that kept you tuned in because you didn't know what was going to happen next.
Right.
And
I think it's not necessarily even just about like having to be risque about everything. It's just that like storytelling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
And the fact that I'm watching to find out what's going on with this story. And if Rusev and Enzo end up meeting in the ring, I'm now fully invested in this entire backstory.
Exactly. So, you know, I think you could probably see the end game here with, you know, Rusev having to get in the ring with either, you know, I or Big Cass. And, you know, with that being said, you know, I got in the ring with Rusev once. The next time I got in the ring with him, he kicked me right in the, you know what?
Yeah.
So, Big Cass, if you've actually paid attention, hasn't touched Rusev yet. Hasn't been able to get his hands on him.
Right.
So I think that provides for intrigue leading into, you know, a potential, you know, matchup between those two guys. But more than anything, you know, I think that, as you mentioned, storytelling. What we do in the ring is storytelling.
Yeah.
You know, and you know that full well as a fan who's watched it for years. That same storytelling that you could do in the ring, you could do out of the ring because we're on a TV show.
Right.
So to keep people tuned in on what's going on, a lot of the time, great matchups in the ring. You know, you want to stay tuned because you want to see who's going to win that match, or you want to see what's going to happen next, or there's a storyline behind it. Same could go for backstage interviews and backstage, you know, segments. And I think that I challenged myself to be able to do those things on a regular basis, week to week. What the heck is Enzo going to get into? What did he do now? Is Big Cass going to have to bail him out, or has he got this one on his own? Or is the little guy, you know, gonna you know, be put in a situation this week, whether it be in the ring or out of the ring. And that, to me, is the most fun of what we do.
There was one little element of the way that was shown on Raw that I felt like I hadn't seen before, and it was like Cass standing in the ring and like the fact that Cass got it before anybody else did. You know what I mean? Like when he goes, wait a minute, and like the commentary team hasn't figured it out yet, and it's not like clearly spelled out, but he goes for the phone, and then it goes to the hotel, and then everybody starts to go, oh no. And then you're the last one to find out. Yeah, I just thought it was just told well.
You know, and the thing about that is, you know, when I'm in that hotel room, I go in to see Lana. Have you ever seen the movie Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
It's Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It's John Travolta walking up to his boss's door, talking himself out of it the entire time. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he's still going to go in no matter what.
Right.
For me, in this scenario, I was presented with a challenge that I never saw before, because they don't want you to be Enzo right now. Okay? Enzo would go in there and start making certified D jokes.
Right.
You know what I mean? The glory is mandatory, babe, you know. It's 4th and long right now, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And, with that being said, I went in there with a mindset as to, you know, I'm gonna just murder this right now. I'm gonna be hilarious. Mm-hmm. People are gonna pop at every single thing that comes out of my mouth, and I had an arsenal ready. But when I got there, I understood the situation. And the situation was, at this point, you deserve every beatdown that you get.
Of course.
You walked up on him, and his wife was naked.
Yeah.
You said you were going to stuff her turkey. Right? You know, I don't remember exactly what I said, but nonetheless, of course he was going to kick me in the you-know-what. Dude.
Right.
So the next time I'm on TV, we got to dial it back when I actually get into that situation.
Well, there's got to be some kind of sympathy, right?
So to garner those people's sympathy, I was playing the, you know, shy. I don't want to be here. I got to get out of here.
Right.
The second I walked into that situation, I knew it wasn't the right one, and I made a bad decision, and I wanted to get out of there.
But at the end of the day, you're a man.
But it wasn't because I was scared of Rusev. It was because I didn't want to do something with another man's wife.
Right.
And so
Enzo's a good guy at the end of the day.
Enzo's a good guy at the end of the day.
Right.
You know? So that was the role I was asked to play, and you know, I haven't gone back and watched it, but you know, when I did watch it live, I was like, oh man, like, you know,
it was good. And you'd make a good like carcass on a like SVU type show when you got dragged out of the hotel and just limp. Well, we talked about Brooklyn and SummerSlam and everything. You're back in Brooklyn on the 28th of December.
It's no better feeling than going home, bro.
Yeah.
You know, ironically enough, I haven't been to Madison Square Garden yet, but the feel I get inside that arena at the Barclays Center, there's none like it in the world. And for me to come home to a home crowd with Big Cass, you know, my mom, dad, my family, I got ridiculous amounts of family. I mean, I got the biggest family you've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I'll have tonight in White Plains like 20 aunts and uncles and cousins and my mom and dad there. So Brooklyn always provides that same, home base for me that all my family and friends can come out to. And, the last 2 times we rocked the Barclays Center, once in NXT, once at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
The crowds were just electric, dude. And we got to open that show, SummerSlam, when we came out.
Yeah.
And give a little ode to the people, you know what I mean?
It's such a fun place just to see a live show, too. Like, this would just be a WWE live show, and just getting to see everybody come out. Like, anybody that doesn't have tickets already, I would get them.
Yeah.
Especially being that it's the holidays and you're off work anyway.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. The 28th, I mean, bada boom, those guys in the room are coming to town, dude. Big cast, bro. That should be enough to, put you in the seats, honestly. I mean, I'm sure we got, the New Day probably be there, you know what I mean? I'm imagining, Sheamus, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. They'll all be in town, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I mean, I think the only 2 people you really need to see, Enzo and Big Cass.
Well, that'll be good, man. Thanks for hanging out, dude.
Oh, man, appreciate you having me, Sam.
I look forward to seeing you tonight.
Heck yeah, bub. We'll go out there and kill it. Bada boom, babe.
Cool, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Hey, it's Sam Roberts. I hope you enjoyed that wrestling interview from Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast. You can go to notsam.com to subscribe to that podcast. But I upload videos like that on this YouTube channel all the time. So if you don't already subscribe now. It's on the side of the page. I made it real easy. Click the button. Subscribe to the page. Subscribe to the page.